everyone, this is Lizzy, and today I have a super simple Halloween card to share with you. I'll be using several of the smaller filler images in the new Booyah stamp set to make this card. One of the great things about Lawn Fawn stamps is that they always include a lot of little images, like hearts or stars, to help dress up your project. For this card, though, I wanted to show you that even these small stamps can be used as the main focus of the card. So let's go ahead and get started. As you can see, I have masked off a piece of Strathmore watercolor paper, and I will be using several colors of orange twinkling H2Os to paint into the bottom. So I'm just activating the pigment by spritzing water in each of the containers, and then I'll be applying it sort of as a gradient from the darkest color, this sort of orangey red, to the orangey brown, and then next to the orangey yellow. So just to speed up the drying process, I am using my heat gun to dry it. And the nice thing about this Strathmore watercolor paper is that it's pretty thick, so it really doesn't warp when you apply heat. So now I'll be doing some inking onto the card. I have taken a piece of acetate and run that through my Big Shot with the snowy backdrop die, and I created my own stencil, which I can reuse over and over again. So I'm just taping it into place so it doesn't shift when I apply the ink, and then I'll be using some black soot distress ink. You could use any kind of ink, memento ink, Lawn Fawn, licorice black ink, whatever you have. And so I'm just applying that onto the acetate, and you can see the stars and hearts as the ink is applied through those little holes. And then the magic, of course, is always when you pull it off. It's my favorite part. So you can see how nicely that inked up. And then we will take off that other piece of tape, and we have a nice crisp line, very colorful bottom of the card. A little hard to see. The twinkling H2Os give a nice sparkle. They have a nice sparkle in their pigment. Kind of hard to capture on camera. So next I'm taking one of the small images, this little spider, and stamping it onto the paper with some black licorice ink. And then I'm using a Copic multiliner. You could use any kind of black marker that you have, and just drawing a line so that the spider has a web to hang down from. And then I will use the little boo stamp, and again also stamp that in black licorice ink. And then I can go ahead and use my ruler and the same Copic multiliner to draw in the suggestion of a web. So I'm just sort of making some random lines on the front of the card, sort of focusing on that top right corner. So as one last finishing touch for the front of the card, I am using some black and white shape-in tape. I just cut a strip of the paper. They come in big sheets, and I just cut a strip. You could use, if you didn't have this, a piece of pattern paper or another kind of washi tape, whatever you have in your stock, or even a piece of cardstock. And I'm just cutting off the excess of that washi tape. And that concludes the front of my card. So now I'm going to get started working on the inside. So I have a standard size card base, just a piece of white cardstock, and I'm going to go ahead and just tape down those edges so it doesn't pop up on me. It'll make it easier for when I stamp it. So I'm using the fake tan ink, which is a nice orangey orange, and stamping the Happy Halloween sentiment from that stamp set. And then I'll use one of the stars, which is also in that stamp set, and stamp a few just to decorate the sentiment on the inside. So now I can go ahead and glue on the front of my card. I'm just going to use some tape runner. And it's a pretty thick card front, so I'm using a fair amount of tape to make sure that it stays nice and secure. So this finishes the card. It's a pretty simple, clean and simple card, pretty easy and quick to make. I hope you enjoyed seeing how I made this card using some of the smaller images in the new Booyah stamp set. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you next time.